Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. Got a video today from the wall. Why are they ruining our business? No fault divorce. Women are angry. Please extra them below. I really appreciate that. Let's get a chow. Chow time.
They want to make it difficult for women to get divorced. So when no-fault divorce became the
You see how it's just women get divorced. It's nothing to do with men at all, because men are just the perpetrators and the abusers of everything. Men never try to get out of relationships, right? It's just women need the out because they're women.
norm, the suicide rate in women dropped by 20%. 20% just based on
From fault to no fault.
fault to no fault. So going back to fault divorces does nothing but traps women and keeps them in dangerous situations.
I don't get why women just, it's a marriage. You have to vet these people beforehand, before you sign that paper. I don't really think many men, all of a sudden, they get that paper and just start abusing the shit out of you. That doesn't make sense.
Period, full stop.
This is an all-out assault on women.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll talk about how they want to get rid of no-fault divorce, how women are against it. It's a long video, but entertaining. I hope you enjoy it because it's quite serious. Men in this country must support the removal or modification of this law because it is the #1 reason for almost all divorces. We want to invite you to smash that like button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year.
I actually don't. At first, when I got into this space, I thought it was the no-fault divorce that might have been the bigger issue. I actually don't think it's the issue. I think it's it's fine to have no-fault divorce, to tell you the truth. But it should be made that the other person should not be able to take your assets if they initiated divorce, especially within a certain period of time. And especially if they didn't contribute anything to any of the finances. And if you don't have kids. They should never get anything out of that.
To get our first plaque. That's the only contribution we ask of you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Leave your experience in the comments for any man who needs it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
Vox recently released an article detailing how the Christian right would like to get rid of no-fault divorce. No-fault divorce is basically when you want to dissolve your marriage without proving wrongdoing by either party. So no-fault divorces are good because a lot of women are trapped in abusive marriages.
See, again, they always say wrongdoing, right? Being abused would be considered wrongdoing. You should be able to get a divorce when you're getting abused. I don't see that you have to do much if you just show them your bruised eye. I'm just saying.
And in order to divorce in certain states and jurisdictions, you have to go to your abuser and ask him to sign the paperwork and grant you that divorce. And we all know that's not happening. There was one paragraph in this article that really stood out to me, and that's what I want us to talk about. Opponents of no-fault divorce argue that it is hurting American families and American culture. Making divorce too easy causes social upheaval, unfettered dishonesty, lawlessness, violence towards women, war on men, and expendability of children.
How is that? That is such a true statement. That I can't even argue with any points of that statement.
To devalue marriage is to devalue the family, is to undermine the foundation of a thriving society.
Agreed.
Let's discuss this. Social upheaval. These ones, the Project 2025ers, they want the good old days back. And we all know what that means. A war on men. Here's the thing. Men believe...
What does it mean back in the day? Women were just getting abused left and right. Their eye sockets were just fucking black. Eyes were just popping out of their eyes just popping out of their sockets constantly, walking around in the streets. All women were just abused left and right, or what? No, that was not what was happening.
That when we have a choice and we don't choose them, that they are being punished. They believe that if we are able to walk away from them and live freely without needing them or wanting them in our lives, that they are being punished. And this is also why we are seeing more violence toward women.
No.
To devalue marriage
We're seeing more violence towards women because you devalued men and men don't value you anymore, so we don't protect you like we used to. So the evil men that have always been there now have free reign to do whatever they want because the good men don't want to protect you anymore. That's what's happening.
is to undermine the foundation of a thriving society. Y'all, they need more bodies. They need more bodies.
No shit.
If every man does not get a woman that he can trap in the house and put babies in, there will be no more worker bees for
What the fuck are you talking about? There's more of you ladies giving birth to 7, 10 kids with 10 different baby daddies than there are men that are trapping women to get them pregnant. What the fuck are you talking about? It's always been a choice of the woman. It's my body, my choice, is it not?
them to exploit and abuse. Please read between the lines when you listen to these people speak, because they've literally been telling us their plans for us the entire time, and this is a huge part of Project 2025. Please pay attention because this is not a joke, this is not a game, and they are dead serious about trapping us in the house to make us labor slaves and incubators.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Fuck.
A total fallacy. First, not all women can stay at home. Nowadays, many women earn the same or more than the men they're with. So many don't quit their jobs because the economy doesn't allow it. Second, I agree that anyone who doesn't want to be married should be able to leave. Now, you shouldn't be rewarded for separating. If you supposedly got married for love, which only men do, because only men marry for love, women do it for a lifestyle. Only a man who loves signs a contract that only harms him. As I was saying, if you want to leave, it's fair that you go. But leave as you came. Why should you have access to my assets when you divorce me simply because you're bored?
Yes.
If you decide to leave the marriage, why do I have to pack my bags?
I agree. If there is, I like how no fault divorce works in a sense. Like, if you want to file without saying any fault and you just are unhappy, well, guess what? You get nothing. But if you can prove fault and say, that, oh, he was a cheater or whatever it is, then you might have something, right? But if you're just wanting to leave because you're unhappy, guess what? There's the door.
Why don't you do it, since you're the one who wants to leave? Why do you have to take my children if this is their home when you're the one making an emotional decision because you know you'll be rewarded for leaving? So, you're not a slave if you leave with my money. You're a scammer, to put it better.
Divorce became the norm. The suicide rate in women dropped by 20%.
I totally believe this. When I was going through my divorce, I wanted to get divorced as quickly as possible. I wanted to be out of my marriage. I didn't know the man that I married. I didn't trust him. I didn't know what he was doing behind my back.
Why the fuck did you marry this guy?
And every single day that I stayed legally bound to him was another day that he could do things and tie me into them, right?
What?
And I wanted out. That's all I wanted was out.
This victim mentality that these women are portraying as if men controlled every aspect of your life when we get married. What the fuck are you talking about?
And I remember emailing him and telling him, like, I want to be divorced as quickly as possible. Like, we've lived it separately as however long, like, can we pursue I think it's like a 90-day divorce in the state of Louisiana? And he absolutely refused. I still have all the emails from his Keen Miller email. He told me there was no way he was going in front of a judge and telling a judge honestly what he had done to me that would allow me to have a 90-day divorce. He told me absolutely not, and that we would file as no fault divorce. And so I had to stay. I had to remain trapped and waiting for 6 months until I could actually legally get divorced from that man. And when he filed the paperwork for my divorce, he couldn't even file the paperwork in my actual name. He literally did everything he could to hurt me, to trigger me, to trap me, and to make himself look like a victim. And so I'm a huge advocate for no-fault divorce, because if that hadn't been an option for my ex-husband to pretend like he's some sort of a victim, I may have never have gotten out alive.
Wow.
He was doing...
You wouldn't have gotten out alive, huh? That's the kind of shit you're putting on this man, that he was so abusive that he was going to kill you?
everything he could to put as much pressure on me as possible. And he was setting narratives up with all of his little coworkers, and behind my back, he was telling everybody how unwell I was for so long, because he was literally trying to set the stage as a victim in case I did take my own life, because he was trying to force me in every way he possibly could, through financial control, through coercive control, through false narratives, through using third parties and acting like he was some sort of victim. He would have loved nothing more than for me to have taken my own life.
Really?
So yeah, watch this video. Go look at the statistics.
I swear to God, the projections is crazy. Like, these women, this is how women think. They really think about these types of things, just causing someone so much harm that you will cause them to self-delete. I don't think very many men think about it like this. At least personally, all the friends that I know, we don't think about harming people in such a degree. For you to even think that, that means you thought it yourself.
And fight for your rights, because nobody else is going to.
We could have been a good couple. We could have had something special. But you one crazy ass bitch.
For as long as I can remember, there hasn't been a woman who hasn't claimed to be a victim, because it seems that all the men in this country are potential abusers.
Correct.
Even your sons, if they are boys, will be tomorrow according to this logic. According to her, the solution was to request a no-fault divorce. But the idea she came up with was that the man would say, "I'm an abuser. She's the victim. She wants a quick 90-day divorce." But why don't you say that saying something like that for that man would have been like saying, "Judge, take everything from me. Give it all to her." Of course, no man with any sense would do that. That man would have come out of that court more plucked than a chicken. But of course, she is the victim. When he got a lawyer, witnesses, and protected himself, she wanted to die from the abuse, because even giving you what you want, which is the divorce, the man is still bad.
Right?
Why don't you say that it's not that you wanted to die? It's that you left broke, you couldn't get what you wanted, because the last thing you thought about was putting a rope around your neck to take your life. What you didn't want was to see the bank account empty.
Some conservatives are targeting divorce as the next avenue to curtail women's freedoms. Let me explain. The U.S. uses a no-fault divorce system, meaning that you don't have
It's always controlling women. That's the narrative they put for all of these laws. It's never to promote families. It's never to promote children, growing up better in lives. It's never to promote, unity. No, it's just always to enslave women in some way, shape, or form, or abuse them.
to prove to a judge that you deserve a divorce. So like Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas can divorce for irreconcilable differences. Our legal system assumes that it's not a good idea to force people to stay in marriages that they're unhappy in.
That I'm actually
But
agreeing
it wasn't
with.
always that way. Once upon a time, you would have to prove to a presumably male judge that you deserve to get a divorce. And this was particularly harmful for women who initiate nearly 70% of divorces. All right, so some conservatives, like Texas Republicans, are trying to scale back that no-fault divorce system because they're saying accessible divorce is just ruining the institution of marriage. We've got
Which is fucking 100% true. I don't get why women don't see this. I get why women don't see it. They choose not to see it because it doesn't benefit them.
all of these people just getting divorces over small irritants that they should just work out. One senator even suggested that people should just stay in unhappy marriages, even violent ones, for the sake of children.
I don't know about that one. Did he say
Also
that?
claim that accessible divorce is actually bad for women because it makes men more likely to cheat on us. If you listen closer, their real problem is women having agency and having power and being able to make decisions without a man's permission. I mean,
It's kind of, yeah, because you guys make horrible decisions.
just listen to this Republican commentator.
This was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted.
Okay, and one other thing. Let's talk about the fact that there are a record amount of single men right now, and women still initiate 70% of divorces, which really isn't that surprising because men are far more likely to cheat, far more likely to physically
Liar.
and sexually abuse their
Liar.
partner, and they are far less likely to do domestic and emotional
Fucking liar.
labor, even when the woman is the breadwinner. Okay, so let's just put all the pieces together here. We've got a record amount of single men because women are like, I don't really need this. And at the same time, predominantly male legislators are trying to reinstate laws that have historically been used to trap women in marriages. They're eroding reproductive rights and trying to create obstacles to obtaining a divorce.
Let's just leave this country, guys. Fuck. As much as I love the United States, the way these people talk and the way things are going, they don't even give a fuck about their own country nowadays.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
It's not about the fear of the man being alone. It's the fear of having to start from scratch. Let me explain with an example. A man has a house, 2 cars, some properties, a good job, and 2 kids.
He loses
The
all
woman
of that.
works, but she is bored and wants excitement, so she goes to her lawyer and says she wants a divorce. The lawyer will give her the best reasons, no-fault divorce. But first, he will tell her to quit her job for a year or 6 months, make herself dependent on him, and then claim financial abuse, followed by emotional abuse.
Yep.
Because I tell you, emotional abuse can be anything. So, she asks for a divorce. The woman goes to the man and asks for a divorce without him knowing why. In front of the judge, they only see the woman as the victim. Since the man works and supports her, he will lose half of the house, half of his money, and any assets. She stays in the house, so she is the primary caregiver of the children and keeps them. Of course, child support is required because the poor woman doesn't work, so there must be alimony. But don't forget part of your retirement because she must continue to be supported. So, you're not at fault, but you'll pay the price for her wanting a divorce. Where is the fairness in this? If she,
Right.
as this woman says, just wants her right to be free, but of course, freedom financed by you, because someone has to pay for her new adventures.
Conservative lawmakers are trying to get rid of the no-fault divorce. And let me tell you why this is so dangerous for women and why it can actually backfire on their asses. So in 1969, California was the first state to instill no-fault divorces, and then a lot of other states followed. And by 2010, all states had this no-fault divorce law. And what this means is you can get divorced for any reason. I mean, how many times have we seen irreconcilable differences as far as a reason for divorce? But prior to this, in order for you to get a divorce, you had to show that your partner did something egregious. And this was very dangerous for women because it was really hard to show emotional abuse. I mean, you could show physical abuse if you took pictures. I mean, back then there weren't cameras like there are now. But if your husband emotionally abused you, that was almost impossible to prove, and you were stuck in a toxic marriage.
See, this is just so bullshit that they use this. Maybe back in the day, yes, it was much harder. Nowadays, you can just literally say abuse in any way, shape, or form, and the man's gonna get fucking flack.
And this is also really dangerous for women because 70% of divorces are initiated by women because women suffer in marriages
They
a
only care
lot more
because it
than men
affects
do.
them.
We're responsible to take care of the household, of the children, of the husband, and there are so many burdens that fall on women that women just
And we don't have to take care of the household, take care of our wife and our kids too. It's just women doing all the work at the house at all. Men are just completely useless abusers, huh?
aren't happy. And also the abuse factor, right? Women get abused by men more than men get abused by
Lies.
women. So when you have to prove fault, it was very, very difficult.
Men get abused constantly. We just don't report it, and nothing ever gets done about it because we're seen as men.
To get a divorce. And also, since you had to prove that there was something wrong in your marriage, a lot of couples just made stuff up, literally made stuff up in order to be able to get a divorce. So the no-fault divorce came in really to save the legal system because people were making up bullshit about the reasons that they wanted to get a divorce, and it was just easier to have no-fault divorces. But now the conservative right wants to take that back, and this is in line with all the rights of women that they're trying to take back. I mean, they already took back Roe v. Wade, and now they're trying to take back our ability to say, you know what, I just don't want to be married to this fool anymore.
But why don't you just have the ability to not marry someone in the first place, which you have the agency to? Stop marrying bad men or men that you might be abusers or something like. Because again, men are not abusers, not to this degree that these women seem to portray us as abusers.
But what they're not understanding is now that we have cell phones and now that we have pictures and now that we have videos, this is going to backfire on the men. Because every indiscretion that the dude has, every time the dude touches you, every time the dude abuses you, anytime the dude does something that
So now they just want just us touching him. We can't touch our wives without consent anymore, guys.
he's not supposed to do, guess what? You could document that. And that is going to be dragged all in court. All your business is going to be dragged in court. Now, I'm not saying it's just men that do shady shit. I understand a lot of women do it as well. But understand that all the shady shit that you are doing is going to be public information.
Same with you ladies. You do not realize how shady you ladies are with each other because you guys hide it. But if you guys get exposed, trust me, women are going to look horrible.
But regardless of all of that, we just need to understand that a no-fault divorce benefits women because, again, divorce is initiated 70% by women. And if we have to show egregious behavior in order to get out of this toxic relationship, do you understand what that does to women's rights and our ability to control our own destiny? Oh, I forgot, but you guys don't care because the only...
You couldn't control your own destiny by finding a good man to marry. Like there are agency of choice that you made yourself.
thing you care about is taking power away from women and giving it to men. Got it.
Oh my God!
43% of divorces are due to dissatisfaction and disconnection. You know what that means. They were bored. It's about wanting to be with a new man they feel more attracted to, but they don't want to do it while still married due to the risk of being left out on the street for infidelity. So, they go for the no-fault divorce because with that, they don't need to give reasons.
Correct.
They will always use the emotional abuse card. For women, responsibility is kryptonite.
Of course.
As I said, not all of them stay at home. The idea of having all the household responsibilities is a lie. Who mows the lawn? The man. Who cleans the roof? The man. Who repairs anything in the house? The man. Why do you think it's easy to tell which house belongs to a single mother and which one to a family in the neighborhood?
True.
Because the single mother's house looks like a mess since they don't do those tasks. Here, no one wants to take away their power. Because letting them have it, we only see more women today becoming homeless or sleeping in their cars because they can't support themselves.
I cover those
They
stories.
have become the biggest consumers of antidepressants, and therapy offices are filled with women. So, don't blame us. We just want to equalize the rights.
There's all this talk about no-fault divorce coming to an end, like we see in this comment here. And I, for the life of me, cannot understand why people, particularly men, would want it to come to an end. Do you really want women, particularly or possibly your own wife, to be stuck in a marriage with you?
Yes. If we got married and I'm stuck, she should be stuck too, right? Didn't we sign the paper together?
Do you really want her to be held hostage, legally held hostage by you?
Really?
Do you really want to be married to a woman that doesn't want you? Married to a woman that possibly hates you or certainly will hate you?
These women make it seem like marriage is like you're bound in chains together or something. Like, people get married and don't live with each other. People get married and live far away from each other. People get married and still have normal different lives. What are you talking about? You don't get married and all of a sudden, oh, you're my slave. Let me lock you in. They're not all fucking Princess Leia with Jabba here. What the fuck?
When she can't divorce you. I mean, really think about it. Who is it benefiting to get rid of no-fault divorce? What am I missing here? Do you really want to be forced to stay in a life with someone that doesn't want to be with you? How does that ever make sense? Even if you don't care about their happiness or if they're going to be miserable, they're going to make you miserable. I mean, if they don't want to be with you and they're stuck in a marriage with you, how do you think it's going to affect all other parts?
See, this part I agree with. If we do take it away, the way modern women think now, yeah, they're just going to make your life miserable. to force the divorce either way. So I think no fault divorce should stay, but it shouldn't be made that if you choose to use no fault divorce, you get no assets.
Parts of the life that you guys have. Are you thinking that because she is now stuck, she's going to take a closer look at you and see what she really has? Absolutely not. Why do you want an indentured servant? Do you think that she's all of a sudden going to find this?
Yes, because all women that get married stay at home. They don't work themselves. They don't have their own careers. They're just indentured servants. Okay.
Attraction
gotcha.
for you? She isn't. Why would you want to be stuck in a marriage with someone who finds your touch physically repulsive? Give me a good answer.
No one is against divorcing. There are men with terrible women who want to leave.
Correct.
But here's the detail. It doesn't matter if the man decides to leave or if she leaves him, he will be penalized either way. That's why men ask for divorce less, and women ask for it more because they are rewarded for leaving you, while you are punished no matter what. Divorce itself is not the problem here. It's the financial laws that come with it. Women pay less child support compared to men. Women are the majority who receive alimony. In almost all divorces, women get to keep the house.
And the
women
kids.
even get part of your retirement or 401k. That's the injustice. It's not about wanting to leave. It's about having to pay for leaving. Because the law is not unfair when a woman asks for a divorce. It's unfair when a man asks for it because he's bored and wants to leave a woman. The judge or family court takes everything from this man. Absolutely everything, leaving him ruined. Sometimes even having to support this woman with alimony when she's not even with him. Oh, but that's not unfair, right? I'm not against the law. I just want it modified so that anyone who divorces for that reason gets nothing.
Me and the wall are on the same damn page. There's nothing wrong with my sense of no fault divorce. It's just they're able to use it against you and still take your assets. That's the problem I have with it. If you don't like me and you're upset and you want to go find somebody else, go ahead. You're perfectly fine. Just you can't touch my shit.
Custody of the children should be divided, but you leave as you came, with a suitcase in hand, happy with your divorce as you wanted.
Shout outs to the wall. Yeah, my opinion on no fault divorce. I think it should stay. I think it's perfectly reasonable that some of these women use their arguments. Some of their arguments are somewhat reasonable. Yeah, I wouldn't want a miserable woman trapped with me because she thinks she can't divorce me in some way, shape, or form. That would be a horrible marriage also, I agree. But these women that choose to leave, choose to do these things, should not be able to have access to the man's assets if they just want to leave, but and reconcile differences. Please express them below. I really appreciate that. If you guys have time to chat.